Our thanks to Richard Sherman for that. If you followed his career, even since his time at Stanford, he's never been a just shut up and play sort of guy, always thoughtful, and we appreciate him doing that for us. Teddy, when you see that, what does it make you feel and think?
Yeah, I think first thing I want to do is echo what you just said. That's a great job by Richard Sherman. That's the voice of the player. And I think what it reminds to me is, it reminds me of what's going on under the helmet with these players right now. And I know we all want to get back to football, and we're all happy about playing football again, but each one of them players under that helmet have so much of a burden that they're dealing with this season, different than any other. I mean, countless COVID protocols.
Yes.
Every single day. All right, I'm worrying about the health of my family, the health of myself. Am I bringing home the coronavirus to my family? Am I going there, and are they going to give it to me and I give it to my teammates? There's an increased sense of social responsibility with these players now that there hasn't been before. I mean, they've got the role of an athlete, but they are fulfilling the role of an activist, Sam. That's what they're doing, and it's just so impressive. So I just want to say, so much respect for every one of these players and everything they're done, and I think you fans, as you watch the games today, realize under those helmets, these guys are going through a lot. And by the way, now go out there and play a violent, competitive game against one of the best opponents in the world on the other side. All of that they have to deal with, and they're still out there competing for a championship. Much respect to every one of them.
You know, thirdly, let me say, great job of Richard Sherman, but, to all the families that lost someone throughout the COVID and this social justice that's going on, I just want to send my love and my condolences out, to those families that's suffering. But when I look at that piece and just think about everything that we've been through this offseason, there's been a lot. And Brew, you said that they really they have a lot more on their plate than just the game of football. And, I want to switch it to the game of football, if I may, because throughout my career, I've had, countless people from the elderly to the youth, middle class, of coming to me and just explaining to me what it meant to be a fan of the game of football. And their grandfather, mom, cousin may not have been a fan of the team that I was on, but just a fan of the game. And I think when you look at what we've been through in football being America's sport, there's nothing that we're going to overlook, because I look at what's coming from the NFL office. I see all these protests and see these organizations backing their players, but I don't want it to be just verbal. We need change. We need action. And I think that when you look at what the NBA's done, and hopefully, some of the leaders in the National Football League can sort of team up and get this thing moving in the right direction. This country is suffering, and for a whole lot of reasons. And I just want to end it by saying that we've been through a lot, and this game of football is something that I had to learn over time of what type of joy the game of football brings to households.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's week one. I'm happy for these players. I'm happy for these coaches. But at the same time, if we want change, we have to be able to get out there and vote. And when I'm talking about voters, I'm talking about the hood. And I know I'm talking about the hood. I grew up in the hood where guys didn't vote. And now as I'm older, I'm married, happily married. I have a family to take care of. And now just listen to Leonard Fournette talking about his children as they get older. That's a fear in every black person's household. And I think that just by what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, if we want change, America, we got to get off our asses and we have to vote if we want change. I'm sorry I took it a little too long, but I think we've been through a lot over the last couple of months. And like I said, I'm glad that football's here. But America, we need to get out there and vote if we want change.
Hall of Famers always get extra time to talk on this show.
Look,
I think we're all in the same boat in saying that this season, if nothing else, we are seeing the humanity of the people around us, the players under the helmets that we just think before are there solely for our entertainment. we're now seeing we are all humans, and there is no roadmap for this. We are all figuring this thing out as we go, and maybe we could just all give a little more grace to each other as we figure it out. There's a lot more to get to. We are going to talk about football because, believe it or not, that's what we want to talk about. We're going to get more from Adam and more on what some of these teams today are preparing for. What can you tell us, Adam?
Well, Sam, the 2020 season will celebrate the return of football. It will recognize the unprecedented offseason, and it will honor the historic social justice movement that has taken place in this country with these teams, with these players, with these organizations. And it'll start today with the playing of the national anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. The Black national anthem that will be played in each stadium before each opener today. We saw it happen on Thursday night. We'll see it happen. And then we will see messages at stadiums. We will see players with decals to honor all the names and phrases, including End Racism, Stop Hate, Black Lives Matter, that we've seen.
Jones of the Cowboys says, everybody knows how I stand, but this is a different time. And I'm going to offer grace to my players. In other words, they would be free to kneel if they wanted to, but I want the fans to offer grace to me for bending my way, so to speak. But the Miami Dolphins, right before the Chiefs kicked off against the Texans Thursday night, released a powerful 2-minute video. I recommend everybody go see it because a lot of players and executives and owners in this league have seen it. And what they basically said is, let's have real change, authentic change, not just publicity, not just symbolism. They said it's not a black-white thing, it's not a left-right thing. Let's just clean up everything. And then it ends with Miami Dolphins coach Brian Flores said, so for the media who wants their answers to what we're going to do, we're just going to go inside. They're not going to kneel for either anthem. They won't be present on the field for either one. Sam?
Yeah, thanks, guys, for that update. Obviously, a lot of teams trying to figure all of this out. One of those teams, the Minnesota Vikings, that's been at the center of a lot of these issues this summer. Our Diana Rossini is there this morning at US Bank Stadium. Diana, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Sam, family members of George Floyd were invited by the Minnesota Vikings to attend today's game. They'll be out on the field during pregame inside the stadium, where it was really just 3 miles away from here, where George Floyd was killed in police custody back at the end of May. Now, the Social Injustice Committee here in Minnesota has actually been in place for 4 years, and Kyle Rudolph is a member of that, and I spoke to him last night about it. And he says they've been getting so many phone calls from different teams in the NFL and teams from other pro sports trying to learn more about what they've been able to accomplish over the last 4 years. They've been doing this since Colin Kaepernick was kneeling during the national anthem. Obviously, this has been a priority for this organization. Now, out on the field right now, players and members of this organization, they're wearing this T-shirt. It says, "Be the change" on the back. The list of 200 people who have been killed because of racism or police brutality. And when I spoke to Kyle Rudolph about that message, he said, yes, be the change. But for this team, this is all about finding love, kindness, and respect for all of humanity. And that's what they want the world to see today.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. A lot of these teams trying to figure out how they're going to get across their message today. Zach Ertz, they're getting warmed up, getting ready to take on the Washington football team, saying it takes all of us. Much more coming from South Street Seaport as Sunday NFL Countdown rolls on.